remote village surrounded by dense forests and misty mountains lived a young girl named Amara. She had eyes that shone with curiosity and a heart full of courage, though life in the village was far from easy. The villagers often whispered about the ancient curse that had kept their crops failing, the river shrinking, and hope fading like morning mist. Many had accepted despair as their fate, but Amara refused to do so. She wandered to the edge of the forest at dawn, listening to the wind rustle through the trees, imagining that the trees spoke to her, sharing secrets of courage and wisdom. She had always been fascinated by stories of ordinary people performing extraordinary acts, and she longed to find her own path of bravery. One morning, while helping her mother at the village market, Amara overheard travelers speaking of a mystical stone hidden deep within the forest of whispers. A stone said to restore life and prosperity to lands struck by despair. Her heart leapt. Perhaps this was the answer her village had been waiting for. That evening, she packed a small satchel with food, water, and the charm her grandmother had given her. A pendant said to guide its wearer through danger and darkness. Her parents, though worried, gave her cautious blessings, while villagers watched silently, unsure if a child's courage could overcome the curse. As the moon rose, casting silver light over the village, Amara stepped past the sleeping houses, her heart pounding with fear and determination. She knew the journey ahead would test her courage in ways she could not yet imagine, demanding wisdom, resilience, and faith in herself. With every step into the unknown, she felt both small against the vast forest and part of something far greater, a destiny that was hers alone to shape. That night, beneath the shimmering stars, Amara took her first steps toward an adventure that could change her village's fate forever. Amara stepped cautiously into the forest of whispers, where towering trees loomed like ancient sentinels and shadows shifted as if alive. The air was thick with the scent of moss and damp earth, and every rustle seemed to carry a secret in a language she almost understood. She remembered her grandmother's words. The forest tests those who enter it. Only the pure of heart will succeed. Hours passed as she followed the winding path, twisted with roots and hidden stones, each step making her pulse race. Sunlight filtered through the canopy in fragmented beams, creating patches of gold on the forest floor. A distant bird song echoed, rhythmic and haunting, guiding her deeper into the unknown. Suddenly, a soft, golden light flickered between the trees. Drawn to it, Amara discovered an enormous ancient tree, its bark etched with patterns like faded runes. In a hollow at its base, a faint glow revealed a fragile scroll. With trembling hands, she unrolled it, careful not to tear the delicate paper. Inside was a map, marked with mysterious trails, riddles, and warnings of the challenges that awaited. The first task was at the River of Reflection, the scroll explained, where she would face visions of her deepest fears. Her heart pounded, but she felt a strange sense of hope. She knew the forest was alive, observing her courage, her intentions. As dusk fell, fireflies began to flicker like tiny lanterns, lighting her way. Amara realized that though the forest was intimidating, it might also guide her if she listened carefully to its whispers. The trees seemed to lean closer, the wind carrying gentle encouragements. With a deep breath, she stepped forward, fully aware that the journey ahead would test her bravery, wisdom, and heart. The path into the unknown had begun, and with it, the first step toward her destiny. By dawn, Amara reached the river of reflection, its waters calm yet shimmering like polished glass. The scroll had warned her. The river would reveal one's true self. She knelt at the edge, peering into the surface, and the water rippled as though alive. Slowly, visions emerged, her deepest fears. The village abandoned, friends suffering, her own courage failing. Her chest tightened, and tears welled in her eyes. But she remembered the pendant her grandmother had given her. Clutching it tightly, she whispered, "I am brave. I am strong." Gradually, the visions shifted, revealing her resilience, compassion, and potential she had never fully recognized. The river reflected not just fear, but the courage she carried inside. Crossing would not be easy. Smooth stones dotted the river like stepping lights, but the current threatened to sweep her off her feet. Each careful step felt like walking through her own soul, a test of balance, determination, and faith. Halfway across, she stumbled and nearly fell, but the memory of her village, its children, elders, and families, pushed her forward. On the opposite bank, a radiant bird perched on a low branch, singing a melody that seemed to echo her heartbeat, a song of hope and reassurance. Amara realized then that courage was not the absence of fear, but the strength to face it and keep moving forward. The river had tested her, shown her both darkness and light, and left her stronger. She took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility and hope settling in her heart. The path ahead would only grow more challenging, but for the first time, she felt ready. She had begun to understand that her journey was not merely for herself. It was for the village, for the lives that depended on her bravery, and for the legacy of hope she was destined to create. The path now led Amara to the Mountain of Trials, a jagged peak that pierced the sky, its cliffs shrouded in swirling mist. Winds howled like restless spirits, cutting through her clothes and chilling her to the bone. Her legs ached, and every step seemed heavier than the last. Yet she pressed forward, remembering why she had begun this journey. The scroll had warned that the mountain would test not only strength but heart, demanding courage, wisdom, and compassion. As she climbed, illusions appeared. Chasms that seemed bottomless, shadowy figures whispering doubts and fears, even reflections of herself mocking her hesitation. Hours passed and the climb grew steeper. A sudden sound drew her attention, a low, pained whine. Beneath a pile of fallen rocks lay a wounded wolf, its leg trapped. Fear gripped Amara, but compassion overtook it. Carefully, she lifted the rocks, freeing the creature. The wolf, instead of fleeing, regarded her with steady, intelligent eyes and silently fell in step beside her, a loyal companion. Further up, a cavern carved into the mountain revealed walls lined with glowing crystals that pulsed with a soft energy. Ancient inscriptions shimmered faintly, reading, "Only by giving selflessly will the stone reveal itself." Exhausted and tested, Amara climbed through icy gusts, darkness, and sharp ridges. Each challenge reminded her that true bravery is not the absence of fear, but the choice to continue despite it. At last, she reached a plateau overlooking the clouds, her spirit stronger, her resolve unwavering, and her heart ready for the final test awaiting at the summit. At the summit of the Mountain of Trials, Amara finally reached the mystical stone resting on a massive pedestal, bathed in a soft, golden glow that seemed to illuminate her courage. Mist swirled thickly, and for a moment, she wondered if the mountain itself was alive, testing her resolve. From the fog, a figure appeared, a guardian, neither fully human nor beast, with piercing eyes that seemed to see into her very soul. Its voice echoed through the air. "Why do you seek the stone, child?" Amara's heart pounded, but she straightened and answered with conviction. "To save my village, to restore hope where despair reigns, to protect those who cannot protect themselves." The guardian studied her carefully, then stepped aside, revealing a path of trials. Riddles tested her mind, questions about justice, truth, and selflessness, each answer unlocking a faint glow along the path. Then came moral challenges, choices between personal gain or risking everything for strangers she had never met. Shadows whispered doubt, reminding her of failures she feared. But Amara drew strength from her journey, the river of reflection that revealed her fears and courage, the mountain of trials that tested her endurance, the wounded wolf she had saved, the fireflies that had guided her through darkness. Each memory reminded her that true bravery comes not from strength alone, but from heart, empathy, and unwavering resolve. Finally, after enduring every challenge, the guardian bowed and vanished, leaving the stone glowing brighter than ever. Its warmth filled her hands and heart, a radiant acknowledgement of her courage. The guardian's final words echoed, "The courage in your heart is the true treasure. The stone only reveals what already exists within." Amara exhaled, her soul alight with hope, ready to return to her village, carrying both the stone and the lessons she had earned through her journey. The journey back to the village was no easier than the climb had been. The mountain of trials loomed behind her, clouds swirling ominously, and the path before her twisted through thick forests and rushing rivers. Rain threatened to fall, and rocks shifted beneath her feet. The glowing stone she carried pulsed with warmth, reminding her of the responsibility she bore. The loyal wolf trotted beside her, eyes sharp and alert, helping her navigate tricky terrain. Every step tested her balance, courage, and endurance. The forest, once mysterious and intimidating, now seemed alive in a different way, whispering encouragement as if acknowledging her growth. Along the way, villagers she encountered on paths near the forest were astonished to see her traveling alone, carrying the radiant stone. Some joined her, guiding her through especially dangerous areas, inspired by the bravery of a single girl. Each encounter reminded Amara that courage can inspire others, that hope can be contagious. Nights were cold, and the river crossings challenging, yet she pressed on, keeping the village and its people in her mind. Every trial on the way back strengthened her heart and taught her patience, resourcefulness, and unwavering faith. As she finally approached the village, the sun broke through clouds in golden rays that seemed to bless her arrival. The familiar smell of earth and crops greeted her, and her heart swelled with a mix of relief and triumph. The villagers ran to meet her, their faces filled with wonder and hope, for they knew the stone, and Amara's courage, would change their lives forever. In that moment, she realized that the journey had not just tested her. It had transformed her, teaching her that true bravery is about persistence, love, and the willingness to face the unknown to protect what matters most. When Amara finally returned to her village, the golden stone pulsed gently in her hands, radiating warmth and hope. She placed it at the heart of the village, atop a simple stone pedestal in the center of the square. Immediately, the river began to swell with clear, sparkling water, flowing with renewed strength. Crops that had withered for years turned vibrant green, blossoms appeared on trees, and the air filled with the sweet scent of life restored. Villagers, initially stunned, erupted in joyous shouts, embracing one another, their eyes brimming with tears of relief and amazement. They realized that the long years of despair were finally ending, and their hope was alive once more. Children ran to the river, laughing and splashing in the cool water, while elders knelt in quiet gratitude. Amara's parents held her close, pride and awe reflected in their eyes. Travelers who had heard tales of the mystical stone and the brave girl who sought it arrived to witness the miracle, telling stories that would inspire generations. Amara understood, for the first time, that the stone's true power was not magic alone. It was a reflection of her courage, selflessness, and the determination to act when others had given up. That night, the village celebrated with song, dance, and storytelling, sharing Amara's journey and the lessons it carried. Around glowing fires, she spoke to the children of the importance of bravery, heart, and compassion. Her story became legend, a folktale passed down through generations, reminding all who heard it that even in the darkest times, hope can be restored by those who dare to act with courage and love. Years passed, and Amara grew into a wise and compassionate leader, guiding her village with the lessons she had learned on her journey. The pendant her grandmother had given her still hung around her neck, glowing faintly as a reminder of courage, resilience, and the adventures that had shaped her life. Travelers continued to come from distant lands, curious about the legendary stone and the girl who had carried it. Amara always smiled and said, "The stone revealed what was already within: courage, love, and selflessness. Those are the true treasures." Children gathered around her, wide-eyed, eager to hear the story of the forest of whispers, the river of reflection, and the mountain of trials. The village flourished, not only with abundant crops and flowing rivers, but with hope, unity, and the spirit of determination. The forests, rivers, and mountains that had once tested her now stood as symbols of strength and guidance, whispering lessons to those who dared to listen. Amara would take the children on gentle walks, pointing out hidden paths, teaching them that every challenge held a lesson, and every fear could be faced with bravery and heart. The wolf, now older and wise, remained at her side, a loyal companion and reminder of the bond formed in hardship. Generations would grow up hearing her story, inspired to pursue their own journeys, to act with courage, and to believe that even one person's bravery could change the world. As she looked across the village from a hill at sunset, Amara felt a deep peace. The golden light bathed the fields, the river shimmered, and laughter carried on the wind. Her legacy was not the stone, but the hope she had ignited in the hearts of all. Her story, once a single act of courage, had become timeless, a folktale for every generation, reminding everyone that even in the darkest times, a brave heart can light the world.